YouTube has a problem, and it's a very big one. First of all, if this is your first video by me, hello, I'm Jessica, aka Jessicur, it's lovely to meet you. I speak about disturbing things on the internet, and although this video is a little bit different, it's still incredibly important, because it's something that affects everyone in the YouTube community, including myself. And that is YouTube's lack of good moderation. So let me give you the context to this. On February 4th, a YouTuber called Banksnap had their channel terminated. They say in their tweet that it was for sort of crappy reasons, and you'll fully understand why they describe it as that when I tell you why. So you might be wondering, why? Why did their channel get terminated? Did they actually break YouTube community guidelines? And the answer is no. Their channel was deleted because they allegedly violated YouTube's child safety policy, and they included screenshots of the timestamp that was given. Now, YouTube don't often give timestamps for this, so the fact that they gave a timestamp, they must have been quite confident that this was the reason why her channel deserved to be terminated. But we can see here from the screenshots she provided of the timestamp, it was close to the end of the video, and it's literally her knocking over her mic. Now, when she uploaded this video to YouTube, she claims that it actually had to be manually reviewed for monetization. This is quite common for YouTube, and a lot of videos go through that. But she is claiming that the video was manually approved, and then when she uploaded it, that was when she got the strike on her channel. And even worse, YouTube are only meant to terminate a channel when it gets 3 strikes, unless it breaks some sort of insane policy. But she didn't have 3 strikes, she had 1, and her channel was removed because of that. If that doesn't make any sense to you, then don't worry, you're not lost, because it doesn't make sense to any of us either. So YouTube sent the generic reply when she tweeted at them saying, "The first step here is to appeal, which sends your channel directly to our policy team, and they'll follow up with you over email. You can appeal in studio or via this form. You can also view your appeal confirmation and anticipated review time in studio." So that's all well and good, right? Surely you'd think that if your channel was truly falsely terminated, you could submit that form and YouTube would sort it out. In the ideal world, that would be brilliant, but we don't live in an ideal world because with YouTube, it isn't that easy. So she replied saying that she already did this and her appeal was rejected, to which YouTube then replied saying, "We can check on this, mind sharing your YouTube channel URL so we can take a closer look." Now that's great, right? YouTube were happy to take a closer look, apparently, at least that's what this original tweet would make it look like. But what they don't really tell you when they say things like this that give you that tiny bit of hope, they really can't do anything, and all they're doing is giving you false hope. So Team YouTube reply after she provides a link saying, "It looks like you've already appealed," she already said that, and received an email outlining the final decision. Again, she already said that. "We know it wasn't the outcome you were hoping for, but there's nothing more we can do on our end as these decisions are made very carefully." Now, made very carefully, I don't believe that for a second. But they keep going because she replies saying, "How does this help me? You falsely terminated me, then rejected the appeal." And YouTube replies saying, "We hear you. There's nothing more we can do on our side to change the outcome. These decisions are made very thoughtfully, and our community guidelines exist to make YouTube a safer community for everyone." Now, YouTube policies have never been great. First of all, people who participate in trends like ElsaGate find many ways to get around them, and YouTube barely take action against the channels that actually need to be taken down. And for them to say that their decisions are made very thoughtfully, I don't believe for a second. And I'll tell you why, because Banksnap isn't the only one who has had this issue. I'll go into my own experience with it a bit later in this video, but Banksnap did make a tweet going into more detail about some other channels who have also had experiences like this. So we can see here in the screenshot that when people tag YouTube to speak about this, YouTube basically replied with the same AI generated response. And that's one of the main problems because it would seem as though their support team is run almost entirely by AI. Or at least extremely assisted by AI to the point where no one at YouTube actually has to make a tough decision. And you can see that one of the people who tag team YouTube say that their appeals were being bot rejected instantly, and this is something that myself and many other creators can vouch for. Because, for example, I've had hour-long videos in the past that may have received limited ads or been age restricted, right? So obviously I edit all my content to make sure that they abide with the community guidelines and they can have maximum reach. So then, when I appeal that, you'd think it would take over an hour or over the length of the video for YouTube to review it, right? Well, apparently not, because the people at YouTube apparently have the ability to just see the entire video without even clicking play, because sometimes your appeals can genuinely be rejected as quick as that. And for people who actually rely on YouTube for their income, it's messed up how someone can literally just press one button and completely erase your stream of income. That's messed up, and surely that shouldn't be the way we do things, right? But apparently it is, and like I say, I've had experience with this as well. A couple of weeks ago I released a video going over Discord predators, and that video was fully removed and my channel received a strike. This was the email I got, and they said, "It looks like Discord's most disturbing gunner communities didn't follow community guidelines." They thought that the video didn't follow their child safety policy and that they have zero tolerance for predatory behaviour on YouTube. Content that's minors in any way is not allowed. That's fine, I don't think anyone is disagreeing with that, but what we are disagreeing with are false takedowns. And I believe that this video was falsely taken down. Now, you'll see a lot of predator hunters, or even in my videos now, when I'm speaking about internet predators, I cannot speak about the age of their victims. And this is why, because YouTube think that that automatically breaks our child safety policy without even bothering to take a second look. Because apparently, what we value more are predators' feelings over the safety of kids. And you can see here, they actually say at the bottom of the email, "We use a combination of automated systems and human reviews to detect violations of our community guidelines." This video was manually reviewed before it went up, and it was approved for YouTube. So if one of their automated systems truly did take this video down like it would seem, then why did someone not take a look, and why did my appeal on the takedown get rejected almost instantly? So obviously I then got in touch with YouTube support, and they were just as unhelpful as you can imagine. I got a full conversation copy because I was genuinely baffled at how badly all of this was handled. So after going through one of the main people on support and them just sending me the generic responses that I've already received before, I finally got moved up to discuss with a supervisor. Now this was something I didn't even know you could do, right? This was crazy, so I was very happy and I thought, wow, for the first time I genuinely might get my problem solved. But wow, was I optimistic, because speaking to the supervisor was arguably worse, because it just showed how insane their systems are. So he says that he can confirm that a human reviewer has reassessed the content and concluded that it did breach community guidelines. So then I asked for a reason, okay? To which he simply says, "We encourage you to take a moment to familiarise yourself with our community guidelines." I think every creator who's uploaded even a single video on this platform are familiar with the community guidelines, especially if you're in this community. So then he says, "I understand where you're coming from. If I were in your shoes, I would feel the same way, as I know that creators exert so much time and effort in creating content. However, please consider that we must enforce our policies strictly and consistently." And they're definitely enforcing them consistently, but in the worst way possible, because they are consistently falsely taking down videos and channels. Now you'd think that the way they would want to do it is fairly and accurately, but apparently not, because strictly and consistently seems to be the only thing that actually matters to them. So I ask for a reason for the takedown of my video and timestamps, right? Now, this video was doing well at the time. This video was doing great before it was taken down, and it was going to be a 1 out of 10 for the month. So you'd think that if they were going to falsely remove a video that could genuinely help out this channel, then they would at least be obliged to give you a reason as to why they've done it, especially if I personally falsely believed that they did it. So they say, "Unfortunately, creators are unable to reach your internal team directly. However, please be assured that your content has been thoroughly reviewed. While we greatly appreciate your curiosity and understand your desire for transparency, it's important to note that we cannot speak on behalf of the internal team responsible for conducting reviews. This separation is maintained to ensure the integrity of the review process and prevent any potential influence that might compromise its effectiveness." Now this bit didn't sit right with me at all, because first of all, if there's no transparency, then in my opinion it's not a good system. And second of all, I think that we can all see, even you just as a viewer can see, that there is absolutely no integrity when it comes to YouTube reviews. We've all suffered with false demonetizations, false takedowns. Even creators in this community like Time6 have had their channels fully demonetized because of YouTube's awful reviews. So for them to act like it has any integrity at all when for years it has been failing is honestly really disheartening. So he says, I have relayed all the information that we have at this moment. What I could do is continue this case via email so I can provide a summary of the points we've discussed. I'll send an email to my email within 24 hours. Now, let me tell you right now, I didn't receive any email from YouTube support after this. I've spoken to them since for other issues, but I never received another email on this matter. All I got was the transcript of the chats which I personally requested. And then when I ask for transparency again, he ends the chat. This could be someone's livelihood that they're messing with. Someone could do it as a full-time job and they're getting false takedowns like this, and YouTube just have the power to just completely ignore them and say bye for now. And this isn't the only time I've had issues with YouTube, because back in November of last year I had a video about Uriel Bromberg. If you don't know who that is, Oompaville just released a very good video on the topic. I'd highly recommend you watch that, but I spoke about it back then and went into detail on the case. Now, they received a privacy complaint about this, which is very different from a strike. So you can get a strike in your channel if you break the community guidelines or the copyright system. For privacy, your video gets taken down but you don't receive any strikes, thankfully, because if that was the case, my channel would be gone, because I have had 3 videos falsely removed for privacy complaints. And this is probably worse than that Predator video getting taken down, because I emailed so many people and spent so much time trying to get this platformed again, but to absolutely no avail. So I submitted appeal, obviously, right, and it was rejected very quickly, so they clearly didn't watch the video, and if they had, then they would have saw that nothing broke the rules anyway. So I have so many emails from YouTube's legal team, because when it's something like a privacy complaint, it's not creator support who handles that, it's actually YouTube's legal team. And let me tell you, as someone with first-hand experience, YouTube legal team are just as incompetent as them. I sent them over every piece of evidence to back up my case, every relevant law, right? And what happened? I'm gonna give you a few seconds to think about it. You got your answer? Because it's probably going to be what you're thinking. Absolutely nothing. Did I even get a reply? Basically no. So I contacted the legal team, and then they replied a few hours later saying, your content has been restricted due to one or more legal complaints that we received. We've reviewed your request and determined that we're unable to remove the restriction of your content. So I say that I'd like to appeal this again, obviously, because it's false, and for the next few emails, I'm not even going to bother showing you these because it's literally just the exact same thing. They basically sent copy and paste AI responses to every email I sent, and I've probably got at least 7 different email threads with them now. One after CC Suarez's video release, another after Oompaville's video released, and of course the ones after my video originally got removed. And they just don't listen. I'm genuinely not even convinced that a real person has even viewed my emails, because any real person with a bit of common sense would realize that, oh, this is someone who is abusing our systems. This guy who got my video taken down is abusing YouTube's systems, and they don't seem to care. Now, what rubs the salt in the wounds even more is when bigger creators have the same experiences, but YouTube treats them better. CC Suarez, like I said, posted a video about Uriel Bromberg, and she also received a privacy complaint on her video. YouTube sided with her, like they should have done with me, and the other creators who have had false complaints against their content. Now, I'm very happy for Chelsea. There's no shade to Chelsea here at all. Amazing creator, go sub to her. But there is shade on YouTube's legal team, because it seems like they pick and choose who they actually want to help. And as a smaller creator like me, that's very disheartening for the platform that hosts your content. Especially when there are channels like this one, which I'm going to speak about in an upcoming video, where this person is essentially uploading fetish content to their platform. This channel is entirely based off of face sitting, right? And these videos have been up for years, and they have thousands of views. The most popular one has 1.7 million views. So this channel that is blatant fetish content is still allowed on the site, and yet videos like mine get removed for absolutely nothing. There's even a channel which has thousands of views where women kill animals and post the raw footage to YouTube, and yet that's apparently allowed. great job, YouTube. And it's even like stuff I've covered before, like the whole new Elsagate stuff that Laura Holiday covered in a brilliant article for Wired. People were AI generating gore and getting millions of views on it, and from that, thousands and thousands of dollars. And yet those channels also stayed on the platform for months. So YouTube has a serious moderation problem, and to be honest, I'm not entirely sure they're going to be able to fix our problems. There's something deeply wrong with YouTube and the people who run it, and there has been for years. So sadly, I don't see this problem being solved anytime soon, but I think it's important that we need to start talking about it, because if we don't talk about it, then YouTube can continue to harm smaller creators without anyone even batting an eye. So yeah, thank you very much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate you. Sorry if this video was a bit ranty, but I know I've got a small community, but I love you guys and I still want you guys to hear about the current problems. And to be honest, my content is disturbing stuff, and I would consider this very disturbing how small creators are treated on this platform. But yeah, if you did learn something today, then like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, especially when YouTube are treating us all like this. And definitely share this video, or just share the information you've learned, cause like I say, it's really important to start conversations, especially when it's affecting so many people. Let me know in the comments what you think of YouTube's moderation problem, and if you think they'll ever solve the issue. Check me out on social media. I have Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. And thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members: Brooke, Entrepreneur, Maury Gann, K4 Silver, Alex Rod, Basefinger, Carmilla, Tango Slime, Shoshka, Reed, Pros and Rosies, Nisha Coles, Midnight Kitty, and Willow. Thank you guys for all the support, especially when we're getting hit by this stuff. It really means the world. I'll be back soon with another video, but if you want another right now, then YouTube thinks you'll like the video that's on your screen.